Hello, welcome back. We're working on the rock and roll journal again. So the inside lining has been stuck down, stuck nicely. Cut all the excess off. There's a bit of a jagged edge there, but we can finish that off with some lace because of the fold. So we can start decorating. I'm just going to take the signatures, two signatures, 6 pages each, and just go for it. So the first signature, this is a cardstock, just decoupaged with a rose design napkin, very rough, and then I've taken some gold paste and rubbed it in. This sits next to the leopard skin when you open it. So let's do a pocket and a journaling card. This is a plain sort of postcard type thing, so that should sit quite well. I really don't have any preconceived ideas when I start with a journal, so it's quite difficult to show my thought process. This is vinyl, it's a gold, so I think I'm just going to go all out and put a vinyl pocket on there, nice and bling to start off with, very clearly rock and roll. I cut some leather this morning, just a little scrap piece with my go-cut and emboss, and so I figured, let me try the vinyl, and it cuts nicely. It's just a generic die. My machine's bed is slightly too short to do a cut, so I just had to finish that off, but that ends up with a nice bit of texture. The back of the vinyl is quite neutral, so I'm not going to actually cover that. What I will do is stamp an image on there so that whatever shows through has a bit of detail as the first page. I've got a choice of 3, just a text, rose, or the sort of open rose. I think it's a rose. Painted flower. The only thing is, I don't think once that's over, the design's going to really show. So I think the text is probably the best option. As always, trustee stays on, stamps on anything. I'm working on a Teflon sheet. That's my chair, very creaky. So even if you stamp over, that just wipes off. So it's not about the actual stamp, it's more just about the texture or the noise, so I'm just sort of triple stamping. Stays on ink, dries incredibly quickly, so you won't get a lot of stamps out of it. So now I'm just doing the bits that didn't stamp. Again, no real care for pattern overrunning. It's just that it's not blank. This vinyl is not the easiest to work with. It doesn't quite go flat, but it adds a nice bit of shine. I ended up using double-sided tape and just glue pen. You should probably use fabric glue, but that's on. No, what did I do with the card? There we go. So that's just a plain journaling card. I think this card is actually not going to stay put. So it's a giant paper clip. This was from Flying Tiger. I bought it in Rome when I visited. And then, since this is the front cover of the journal, I'm going to add some of these Tim Holtz words, thoughts and theories, and etc. just to add a title to the top. Okay, there we go. And then in terms of journaling, I've got a very real problem. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. I've got a very real problem with deciding that's enough on a page, because now I'm looking at the fact that the pocket's wider than the actual card and whether I should cut that off, whether I should just leave it.
I'm coming up.
Like, should I even add the little bling strip there? Let's do it. I've added it. I think it looks better. So that is page 1 done. This is page 2. It's one of the pages that I have decorated. So it's got a double tuck. So that's cut with a hand punch. And then I'd included a postcard in the same series as the one I used in front, and a little, I think it's a Prima journaling card. But now I don't want another postcard, so let's find something new for there. And then the top has a little sentiment. This is a free postcard. Valant is a furniture company. It's got text on the back, unfortunately, but it's a really nice cardstock, and it's nicely foiled, and the raw refined is a good term, so let's fix it. Okay, I'm going to put it's a washi tape sticker, so it'll be slightly translucent, but it'll hide that. And then at the back is an envelope, which, oops, I'll keep as a flip open so that you can still put stuff in there, and then we can cover that up. So then you get some of the roses. This rose is a bit orange, so it doesn't go so well with the rest of the journal, but the image is quite good, so you could write there, and then whatever's sort of more secret can go in there. So as I've said before, I'm a true junk journalist, so I like having that I can reuse this, because otherwise it would have ended up in the bin. I've had to trim the envelope a little bit to fit on the card, but I just trimmed it and glued the flap back, so it just looks like an envelope again. I've cut a piece of just book paper to size so that it can cover the flap, black frame. Where I cut and restuck it, obviously it's not stuck, so that little sliver can't be covered. I'm just going to washi tape it. So, I mean, sometimes I do stupid things and then I realize I shouldn't have done it, but next time I'll do better. Is there a lot of work for a card that I could have just thrown in the bin? Yes, probably. I distressed it a bit, and then this was the one that I wanted in the signature and then hated, but I've got it, it's done. It looks like someone had notes over coffee in the middle of the night and had a brainstorm. So there's that, and that tucks in the back pocket. Another page done. This page is coffee dyed grid paper, so some of the grids faded a bit, and then on this side the coffee didn't quite go through. Sorry, I've got a helper here. That's the noise. And then I've had this image from an Ideas magazine since 2015, and I just like the roses and the antlers and the black, so I think I'm just going to stick it on. I've cut the little banner piece off. I may or may not use it again. This is just, I mean, it's magazine paper, so I'm just going to put it in the corner. There's still enough space to write. You can also write on this with white ink. I'm not a big writer. I do really snippets, so I don't need full clean pages, and this journal is for my use. As I've said, I can never just leave something alone, so I've done an edge on that, so it looks more like a flag. In fact, I've now just added a ribbon and some more of the big words. I punched it, stapled it with my Rapid one. Oh, there am I. Best stapler ever, just invest in one. So that goes there. That is another page done. What I'm not showing is most of the edges and things. I'm just distressing to take the white cut lines away. Here we go, next page. I made these little tiny pockets earlier today, and then this is supposed to be a Christmas tag, but I mean, just don't use it as a Christmas tag. I like that it's got the grid paper on the back, so I've cut it down, so that'll go in there and sit nicely. This is a stamp doily on a die cut doily. So, and then I'm missing some red. The white's not so great, but perhaps that. No, I like the ace more. I like doing just little clusters in the journal. They serve no real purpose except to visually make me happy. So again, lots of space to write, and then you can add something there. I think I'm going to do the little doily as a tuck spot, because then the card can still come out, so then that's another journaling space. Having said that I want to make it a tuck spot, I shoved glue on the whole thing, so I just wiped it off. Hopefully it doesn't stick too badly. What I make the mistake of doing is I put things far to the right, but remember, if you're stitching, you need that space in the fold. Let's see. Yeah, that should go in, and then we can add that. So there's that little cluster done. I've just added embroidery thread and wool, and then on the back of the card I just added 3 stickers. They're quite translucent, so you can still see the card, and then that tucks in. This is a textured paper that was part of my wedding invite, so let's see. I'm actually going to do no decorating. This is a piece of scrapbook paper, so it's like a wood grain, pretty blank on the back to write, and I'm just adding it with a little lightning bolt paper clip. So that's a bit of a rock and roll feeling, and the colors tie in without really taking away from the paper. So this is the back. It's very blank, very cream. So I've got journaling cards. They're slightly more pinky, but because they're not near any red, I think they'll be okay. And then this die cut's meant to be an envelope, but the flaps had cut too deep, so I just tore them off. So that's more like a little folder type thing now. So I'm just going to do that and put that in and decorate that, because you can either then stick them down, put them in a pocket, or eventually use that for this side. When I journal, I also find stuff. So if I have an envelope or a doily or whatever, I'll also use that when I start journaling. Okay, so this is a little folder. I've just added a little journaling card. This metal is Milo tin that I've just die cut and then I stenciled on it. So that just holds 2 journaling cards, and then that whole booklet is also journaling space. And then that closes. Sorry, my kids are going crazy. There we go. But to be quite honest, I think I will call it a day.